March 11th, 1994, Mammoth Gardens in Denver, Colorado, home of UFC 2 No Way Out. We start off the show with a propaganda video from UFC 1, which just runs through highlight. Oh, hello, Gerard Jordo. I can't actually believe that they decided to use Mr. Jordo's salutes from his fight at UFC 1. But anyway, they show more of the brutality from UFC 1 before then we open to the arena, Mammoth Gardens. Attendance is down from UFC 1, which was 7,800. Here tonight we have 2,000 people. And after having watched UFC 1, I can't believe they managed to get 2,000 people here. Team is Brian Kilmeade and Jim Brown with his very distracting hat. And then newcomer Ben Perry is also here tonight. Commentary ran down that this is a 16-man tournament tonight. Here are some of the matchups that have already happened. The winners in yellow, the losers in white. There is still one fight left to go of the first round, which is Royce Gracie versus Ichihara. So they introduce Ichihara, seeing as he's the newcomer to UFC. They show him doing his karate, and he says that his dream opponent is Royce Gracie. They do enjoy showing these sort of propaganda videos for each martial art. I'm not entirely sure why that is. Yes, probably just because it wasn't readily available to look up at that point. I don't know how strong the internet is in 1994. So G-Man is back and he is our ring announcer again tonight. So the fight starts and Royce gets the takedown as to be expected. And then the Royce Gracie fight begins, folks. We sit here for 5 minutes before Gracie beats Ichihara by nothing. Similar to how he beat Art Jimison at UFC 1, it looks as though Ichihara taps before anything is actually applied here. Neither a triangle choke or an armbar. Ben Perry tries to comment on this after the replay, and even he has to acknowledge that he taps before there's any extension on the arm, but this is put down as an armbar victory for Royce Gracie. We then get to the magnum opus of the UFC production team at this point. They run propaganda videos for each martial art again, and I can't even explain to you what this is. They describe these as the 5 families of disciplines, and they're showing people do moves that we have never seen before in UFC. I mean, this just screams 1994 to me, and I can't even explain why. But look at this shit. They call a discipline exotics, and if anybody can explain this to me, please do so. We have never seen anybody act like this in the octagon. How is this meant to help you win this no-holds-barred contest? And now commentary decide that now is the time to say that this sport is really a chess match. What part of these last events has suggested that this is a chess match? Especially after that propaganda video that you just showed. Oh, and wouldn't you know it, an exotic in our next fight. So Kilmeade says on commentary, a lot of people don't know what an exotic is. And he's right, we don't. He then says, well, you should now after that video. Really? He then asks Perry to explain. And Perry can't either. He just says, well, exotics are anything that aren't a normal style. Anyway, Smith ends up on top of Morris and just elbows the fuck out of him. Now, I gave the referees some grief at UFC 1, but holy shit, Big John was ready to let that man die in there. He didn't even call the fight when Smith got up to celebrate. He gave the corpse of Scott Morris the chance to get back up. Hold on guys, he's still breathing. What the actual fuck? Anyway, Smith wins and Scott can't even remember his own name. Well, anyway, we can't grieve forever. So next we have Johnny Rhodes against Fred Ettish. Johnny Rhodes won a 15-minute untelevised fight to get here, and his opponent Fred Ettish is a replacement who looks like fucking Ben Stiller out of Dodgeball. Anyway, he's a 5th degree black belt in karate. And he's down already. Anyway, he isn't finished because Rhodes has some of the worst ground and pound I've ever seen. And I know he's already been in a 15-minute fight, but I mean, come on. And then After this, Etish doesn't even try to get back up to his feet. He just lies there on the floor and tries to kick the leg. Rhodes ends up managing to get down and take his back and gets him with a choke, and I swear to God, Big John is just waiting until these guys die. This is like Mario Yamasaki level shit. But anyway, Rhodes is into the semi-finals. Next, we have Orlando Veit, and he is taking on Remco. Orlando has a 55-9 record with only 13 KOs. So G-Man is letting us know that Orlando is a decision merchant. Not that that's going to matter here. He goes for a takedown, Remco ends up on top of him, and he just sits on him because he's fucking 90 pounds heavier than him. I'm surprised that Orlando can even breathe with this guy on top of him. But Remco goes for elbows from the top, and Orlando's out almost instantly, and I swear to God, Big John again with this shit. Did he train Herb Dean? Jesus Christ. This shit deserved the human cockfighting allegations. Next, we have Jason DeLucia versus Royce Gracie. Fuck. So Royce gets DeLucia in his guard. Royce then transitions to top where there's a brief struggle and then an armbar. At which point, DeLucia taps instantly. Royce doesn't let go again. Big John is nowhere to be seen. I am so fucking sick of this shit. Royce then breaks his arm and goes to the semi-finals. I am so fed up of this bullshit. Look at this. And there's an instant tap. I think the corner had to throw the towel in for John to actually step in and separate this. Look, tap, tap, tap. Nothing. Goes to the ground, still nothing. Fuck. So Patrick Smith is in the first semi-final against Johnny Rhodes. And anyway, the fight starts. Rhodes throws a spinning nothing and more of the same for about the next 30 seconds before Smith just kicks Rhodes right in the dick and grabs him in the standing gilly and gets the win. He is into the final. Now, I didn't even notice this the first time, but Johnny Rhodes actually taps with his feet and Big John again just completely misses it. I'm not going to go so hard on him because I also missed it. But, I mean, fuck, you're the referee. Should you not be looking out for this? So, Royce is back and he is against Remco. Now, let's see if Remco will use his 90-pound weight advantage like he did against Orlando to get the win. They credit Remco with being a jiu-jitsu champion, everybody, let's remember this. So he gets taken down and choked out with his own gi. What the fuck? But you can see that his gi is not round the neck, it's on his chin. So that can now get added to the pile of suspicious Gracie wins. So before the final, we get some Gracie family propaganda as though there is any doubt who's winning this. And here we go, UFC 2, No Way Out, final, $60,000 on the line, Royce Gracie versus Patrick Smith. 20 seconds in, Gracie is in mount, he throws a few straights from the top, and Smith's corner throws in the towel. Tell me this shit is not rigged. They hug and kiss. Patrick Smith was more pissed getting beat by Shamrock in the first round of UFC 1 where there was no money on the line than he is here, and he didn't even give up. The Gracies then spend an awful long time talking to Smith, and it's here that I actually thought, if I was a fan just watching this back in 1994, I would never watch this shit again. Royce then plays acceptance speech bingo, thanks his family, and says he's going skiing with the $60,000. UFC 1 was a mess, and I put that largely down to the fact that nobody knows the rules, the referees or the commentators. So we got new commentators. Okay, they are better than Bill Wallace, right? And we got new referees, and I have no doubt that Big John became a better referee. But this event, between the bullshit discipline propaganda and the bullshit officiating, And I'm just going to say it, the rigging that Royce Gracie is winning this thing somehow made this go from bad to worse. They had 2,000 people here for UFC 2, and that's 5,000 down from UFC 1. And I think this event actually killed the town, because for the first time we're leaving Denver, Colorado. We are going to Charlotte, North Carolina for UFC 3, and I'll see y'all next time.